Okay, for Sketch88, I wanted to dive into a Max for Live patch. Had a lot of fun with the last sketch, going through a whole bunch of patches all at once. But this one, I'm just going to focus in on this Euclidean drum rack one. It is made by the same person who made these Euclidean chords one. I guess he didn't put his name on there. But if you go to the maxforlive.com site, you can do a search for this, and you will find this. So anyway, this patch here has, let's just hit play and see what it does. Cool. Yes, I am also experimenting with a little sidechain compression on the output of Ableton. So when I talk, it should duck the sounds and hopefully not sound too much like garbage, but you know, no guarantees. We'll get there, we'll dial it in. Cool, so we've got all these lanes, we can set the note out. Looks like the amount of bars that the pattern will traverse. Rest, I believe, is probability. And then we can make it, I think it's creating sort of a meaningful random pattern. And then if we turn this thing on, I believe it sort of reshuffles or changes the pattern every 4 bars. Yeah, okay, so you can see it actually changes the numbers in here, which is cool. And we get a lot of like off-kilter sort of, sounds a bit shuffly. So what I'm doing here with the operator, it just really tight attack, tight decay for like a nice kind of clicky sounding, percussion sounding thing. All right, let's get some of these rests down so we get like a little more of an active rhythmic beat. And let's take our phase back down to 0, or at least to default. Cool. All right, so it seems we got something to work with. I think this drum rack patch is meant to be used more for drum type sounds, and you would split them out like so, using the key section of a rack. You could just move these little side bars and make this, you know, make different chains across each of the different. It's flexible, so you can change the notes here if you want. And let's get maybe some white noise in there, kind of a hi-hat sound. Cool. Now let's do another one. Looks like we've got some longish notes. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what the bars stands for, perhaps also. Let's check out the note length Yes, okay, cool. And if we make these... Yeah, that definitely changes things up. So we are getting like longer held notes in here. Cool, and I think adjusting the steps off of from 8 to some other, or 16 to some other odd-ish number, you get some really weird polyrhythms. Now we've got one more we can play with. And, I guess these are being pitched to whatever key is coming through, which we could turn off, you know, any key tracking. I think the filter is set to key track, frequency to key. Let's see if we can get a little bit more bass coming out of this. And how about a little snap? That's kind of hard to hear with all these other sounds being a little snappy. So cool, let's try some delay effect on some of these different percussion sounds. Cool, that's kind of fun. It's got that like slight Audiker type of sound going on there. So we could put a random LFO. Let's actually get it random there. And let's some of these. Let's play with some filtering on that. Cool. I'm thinking for this one we could try our wonderful that we introduced the function. Yeah, this is a great Max for Live patch, a freebie, and we can just map the position here, and it's going to cycle through these different envelopes. You can see here we're getting a certain amount of these envelopes are occurring based on where this thing is at. We can have a smooth in there. So let's get to mapping. All right, let's also get some some cool effects going on some of these others. Right now everything's sounding a bit static and clicky. All right, let's get a an envelope faller in on that one. Where are you? So many options. I'm always getting lost in all these options. Okay, so let's try something. Let's try an LFO and let's map to the depth on this LFO. So only when our hits come in hot do we get any kind of motion on the LFO there. Okay, cool. It's interesting what it's doing with this random as we're controlling the depth from here. We'll just see how far we get with that. Cool. I think I'm going to get a little motion like that going. And we can use the auto drag fader auto dial. Yes. I still haven't made a audio version. It would not be very hard to do. I think I could just make an empty, open up an empty audio Max for Life patch, open this one up, select everything, copy it over into the audio one, and save it. That's worked in the past for me on some things. Right, let's get these pulled down a little bit. All right, demap. Move that one around, map that one. Very good. Okay, so let's, yeah, we want some smoothing on there. Let's record that. Let's try ping pong on that one. And I want to see what mapping this envelope follower to the rate, but reversing the Let's try to really push this phaser out there and see. I don't think we can get as extreme of settings as we get with the chorus, but let's see. All right, cool. Well, I guess I'm gonna move on to playing around with this little thing a little bit. Let's try messing around with the steps of our kick. Let's add some rests in there. Random rests. And definitely, let's get some random velocity going in there. So as you can see, it's only taken, a few minutes to get some kind of a weird thing going on. With this, it makes, I guess, patterns pretty easy. I kind of want to actually explore another track with this as well. We could always try something melodic. Let's. let's save this. I want to pull in some effects. Definitely on this kick drum need a little something to help give it some motion. I think could throw some effects on that thing. Obviously, always an option. Let's try. Oh, it's kind of interesting. Well, let's try some of that. And just see how far we get. Right. That's map. Filter frequency looking good. Let's get another auto dial on this level here. Things are getting crazy. Sounds very, very rubbery in the background there. And we'll do ping pong on that one. Alright, let's get some more auto dials going in there. This thing is sounding like some kind of slimy, slimy robot. You slimy robot. Yeah. Yes, let's auto dial this. And just a little smoothing on that. Alright, let's get that map going there. Nope. Gotta hit D map first. D map. Click on the thing, and then map. And record. Let's try that again. I think we'll start it up here and just kind of stay up in this thing. This auto dial definitely needs is some kind of range sliders. Would be useful. All right, cool. Let's try a spectral timing on this. Just randomly throwing things in and seeing if they'll stick. Free spirit, so no holds barred. Just I think it's always so much fun just to like start throwing things around and seeing what sticks. All right, let's try some of this auto trigger thing. Kind of like this. These settings here. Obviously, you can see every time this audio is coming out of here, we're getting a peak, and it's triggering some fun stuff in here. All right, let's also auto dial the shift on here. honestly, with these auto dials, you don't necessarily need clip automations. I mean, these kind of do a little bit of that for you in a way. Clip automations are probably more CPU efficient, and you don't have to load in an extra Max for Live patch. I guess it's just kind of whatever you're feeling. I like these because they can, you know, as soon as you open the project, these are set to auto run, so they just will be a little bit more generative than like a clip automation, which is set to some form of a finite loop based on this playhead also. So, that's also useful. I think it's all those cases can be used to some advantage depending on what you're trying to do in life. Let's try a frequency shift run here. It's not an effect I use a ton, but sometimes for like really tight, it can almost sound too sci-fi sometimes. Yeah, maybe just a little too much sci-fi coming out of this. Could try a couple of these in a row and just do some change the rates a little bit. Kind of like those moves. Cool. Okay, let's... Alright, this is the one that's going a little spastic. Try corpus on this one. Just giving in some motion, some more tonal motion with this sort of smooth random LFO. And I'm thinking this course we may want to dial it back just a little bit. Since we've already mapped this wet and dry and we've got fun stuff going on there, we could go and I guess we could dial in here. Or we could drop this course into this wet and dry here for like a secondary. I might get an auto dial to only turn this thing on every so often. Let's try it and see if it works. I have a feeling it'll be a-okay. Alright, let's give these an arbitrary length and speed. And demap. Wet and dry. And map. Yep, cool. And record. Okay, cool. Now over to here. We'll get back to this percussion stuff in a second. I think that sometimes you just gotta move on a new thing and sit with the other one for a little bit, and then eventually areas of improvement, you know, how to fix this and take this thing to somewhere better will jump out after not spending some time with it. So, okay. So, melodic stuff. I mean, we could, you know, split these individual notes out, again, using the key filter. Maybe for now I'll just turn these off. And we could then, we've just got this C1 coming through here. We can using all these nifty MIDI effects, we can pitch things up, pitch things down, pitch things all around. We can, so almost like a bass line. And using this random, we can split that up into whatever 12 random notes. So we have it set to add, so it's only going to pick notes above whatever's coming in. So if we do bi, it'll go both up and down. Sub is obviously just notes underneath this. You can see here by the minus, it's picking lower notes. And this is full on random, but if we get a scale going, I think we can dial things in a little bit. So I can't really hear what's coming out of there. I'm going to just spend a wee bit of time playing with this scale to try and see if I can get some kind of meaningful series of notes here. If I was a good musician, I would know exactly which notes to pick. You know, or I could just try one of these. Some Euclideans can be fun. All right, let's introduce this other note here and get another operator there, but let's filter this thing out and copy the pitch and bring it in here. And let's take this thing up. And let's actually pull in this Euclidean business over here. All right, let's see about a chord. Also crazy and generative sounding. Let's try this, just the 5 up, 7 up. Definitely some kind of weird video game type of soundtrack. Let's see what happens if we wonder if we can get like a little bit of a bend going on, like a glide, yeah. Slimy robot, yes. Sleazy robot. Cool. Not the most interesting tones, you know, operator in and of itself can be a little bit generic, but we can, as we've done before, get things a little going and make them a little weirder with a crap ton of effects. Let's take some of that tail off of that. Yeah, let's automate some things. I am feeling today like a lot of auto dial. Some days I feel like a lot more automation, but lately it's been a lot of sort of more generative. Maybe I just want a bigger challenge. Who knows? Sometimes you just gotta switch things up. Alright, sweet. Let's do a ping pong on that. That gives a little bit more. That like kind of almost doubles the variation a little bit in a certain way. Alright, let's play with... Yeah, let's get that going. Also, let's demap from here and then move that. And we can adjust these and clear. Let's get some smoothing on that. Yeah, good old FM synthesis. Classic sounds coming out of this operator right now. Let's do that from here. And map to the course. So far we've got a very generative sound going on, you know, it's something we can live with. I don't know. You know, honestly, when doing sketches, oftentimes I don't even think about that kind of thing. I just kind of try to see how challenge myself to move quickly and then when I pick the sketch back up a week later or whatever, sometimes I'll pick it back up and be like, this is just complete garbage, and start a whole new sketch, or I'll pick it back up and keep tweaking on it like I'm doing now, and just depends on how I'm feeling in the moment. Honestly, sketching is a pretty feelsy type of activity, if you ask me. It is about sort of just intuiting the next move. And of course trying to like hear an idea and extrapolate that into existence. Way, way easier said than done. But it is always a fun challenge, you know, to try and do that kind of stuff. Manifest the ideas. I do think as an artist that is like what we try to strive for is getting good at that, so that the you know, fluent in that language, essentially. It can take years, honestly. Some people are really quick. I mean, it really depends on how fast you want to memorize stuff, how fast you want to create like a box of tricks in your head. You know, everyone's got their own pace, and of course life stuff you gotta like mitigate, you know, try to find the time to do it. If a person can find the time at least like 30 minutes to an hour a day to mess with this stuff, I think that is good enough. You know, it will take a while. Of course, the more time put in, the faster, you know, the faster you get it down. And there are times where I've literally had to take months off, not sketching, not doing any sound design-y kind of stuff, you know, after office hours, of course. My day job, it's impossible to avoid, really, unfortunately. That's a whole other topic. How to work in sound design and music for commercial projects and still maintain inspiration to do this stuff after hours. I know a lot of people who prefer hardware, working with synthesizers or modular rigs, gets them away from the computer. I've been enjoying VCV Rack lately. it's been a fun sort of change of scenery in a way. It is again like Legos, but the sound quality is far superior to Ableton, I must say. And of course, being free, there's no reason why nobody should not pick it up or at least try it out. There are so many awesome free modules there. In fact, let me just open it up really quick. Just fire the hotkey off. We'll see if it actually opens up. Well, let's see here. It may crash. I'm now. Oh wow! It did not. That's a miracle. Sometimes when you have your MIDI, the MIDI module in VCV Rack, looks like I've got some updates. These every day or every other day or every so often you'll get updates to all the modules. And so we've explored before VCV Rack, VCVST as a VST plugin, which, sorry Mac users, and it's not in here right now. I'm reorganizing my plugins folder. Things are always under construction in my world. Getting things a lot more efficient. All right. I guess we got to relaunch VCV. Let's do that. Oh, hello again, VCV. So this is a patch that I built based off of a video that somebody had showed of their patch, and I just sort of examined that and created, using the same modules. Now let's direct the sound, if we can, into Ableton. So I like to use Cable, which is a freebie. It comes with one, and I bought there's like an A and B, and of course you can just get one that's free. So let's just try Cable in A. And those other ones like Jack, I forget some of the other audio pipe options. And then we just need to set this to A. Looks like it's already set up. And let's get an audio track with that. Looks like we've got the signal. Looks like there we are getting some kind of feedback loop. This may or may not work. We will see. Maybe it's one of these others. Cable A. Looks like there's only one A in there. Very strange. External. I'm not sure why in this case. Well, anyway, we don't need to necessarily route in. Well, I don't want to give up just yet. Let's try. Let's see. Speakers, VB. Oh, these are some different ones. Maybe these will do it. Speakers, yeah. Cable A. Yeah, I'm not sure what the difference is between these two, but let's try this. I hope we don't get a crash. It's like it's looping back somehow, but we are definitely routing out, using a complete different. So that's fascinating. I'm not really sure. All right, I'm just gonna bypass this idea. Well, we could record some of this and then load it up in here. This patch is set up using mostly the built-in modules by, I guess it's, the factory ones by the brand VCV. You can see they all have their unique sort of boring white look, but it does help them stand apart. Very clean look, I guess. They do sound really good. That's all that matters. Who cares how some of these are, you know, they're all developed by different people out there, you know, doing it for the love of it. So many freebies right here. I've got, let's see, I've got 2,228, and those are all free. So I think I'm going to, at some point, shift focus over into just using VCV instead of Ableton. Maybe after the 100th sketchsploration in Ableton, I will start to use just VCV because it's so powerful and amazing. There's so many great, awesome things you can do. All right, so let's get a recorder in there. And let's get that file set. Let's see, output file, select, yes, and we will put it in our sketch explorations folder, samples, VCV, out, ambience. There we go. And I'll just hit record. And let's silence Ableton. And that's probably good enough to make a loop. So this patch is pretty much run from this gnome clock and a lot of like squirrely logic here into the mixer, and then you've got these CV outs. You know, there's just a lot of interplay between these LFOs, all sort of driving this auto break, which, as you can see, we've got the same sample loaded up into all the slots. Auto break is great for break beats. Different percussive stuff. It takes the clock in, which is sort of sets the speed of things, and it will like sync up the various samples. And there's this amazing module called strip, and whatever you set it next to, and you can hit the mode to either affect everything to the left or the right, or just the right or just the left. And there's this random option here. So we've got two of these strip modules. So if I hit this button, it fires off the random, which then randomizes all of these things here, basically. Everything that's like, this strip only affects stuff in the row, not stuff above or below it. So anyway, it gets wildly nutty results just hitting this. And I could put an LFO instead of a button here, and so it would automatically fire the random for both of these rows off, kind of, you know, whatever rate I set the LFO. So things get really intensely weird and nutty really quick inside of VCV, which is what I love about it. The faster I can get to weird, strange sound designs, the better. All right, maybe in one of the next sketches we'll figure out how to route VCV in properly into Ableton, and then you can also route using our Loop BE free program for Windows driver. We can route MIDI CV into VCV and control it that way. So that's gets pretty cool and fun and weird. So if you don't have, you know, access to VCVST, which, well, the difference between, you know, 1.0, the standalone of VCV Rack, sadly there is no VCVST version of 1.0. There's so many more modules for this, so many more crazy things you can do. VCVST, like we used in the past, only has so many modules that are made and ported over for it. It's still uber powerful, but 1.0 VCV Rack is way, way, way even more powerful. So fun stuff for down the road. Okay, back to craziness at hand. I definitely wanted to get a reverb on this, but first let's get that sample in. I want to use the looper. actually just pull it into an audio track for now. Keep things a little simple. Where are my samples? There we go. BCV ambience, yes. And here we could probably stand to pitch shift. Actually, we should pitch shift after the scale. I think it's up one note. We'll maybe get it in key with this sample a little better. And let's warp straight 120 from here. Set this to loop. Cool, let's get some envelope follower on this rate. Yeah, things are sounding strange already. Now, let's pull this into Wavesaur, a great free program for PC. We'll resample it. First, let's normalize it. And then take the bit depth down to 8-bit. Let's make it nice and kind of noisy, crusty. Yeah, I like this old crusty sample type of effect. I will say this in Wavesaur, if you ever do use this, these settings here, band limited, medium, high quality anti, seem to produce, and to my ears, the best results if you take a sine wave and load it in here, and then you change the sampling rate. It seems to sound the least aliased with those settings. Took me a little while to figure that one out. So anyway, let's save that and go back into here. Cool. Let's try some of these different reverbs, maybe some of the textures. Wish we could automate this right here. Just change these on the fly. But again, you know, you change these and you hear a bit of a jerk in the sound, which sometimes it sounds interesting. Sometimes it's a little bit like clicky. The only plugin I have found that does this sort of thing smoothly, as I've mentioned before, it's the surprisingly found in a odd place, reflector inside of Guitar Rig. And you can switch between various, let's see if I can find the old Max for Live, so many convolution impulse responses. I feel like you can't have enough. Because you can do so many cool things. Well, I guess here's the contact library. Let's try some special effects in here. Let's do the shorts for this example. Now, if we just hit these buttons, we can switch through. Oh, that switches the folder. And you hear it's much smoother. Now, we can't automate this, unfortunately. So I think what it does is it has several loading one on. It's almost like a convolution polyphony. But we could record this output, obviously. Yeah, very smooth, no clicks. It like lets the tail of one sort of bleed into the beginning of the next. I wish we could automate that, would be amazing, but unfortunately not. No convolution plugin that I know of allows that kind of automation. It's just, for whatever reason, they don't think anyone's going to ever want to do anything stupid or weird like that. But as a sound designer, I'm always thinking like, why can't I do that? I want to, I would love to create sounds that have that kind of amorphous, flowing feel and effect kind of across the time span, you know. I would just, love to be able to get this thing to sort of auto move around. Automate everything. Yeah, guitar rigs, surprisingly super powerful for effects. Again, not the best for guitars in my opinion. The plugin Overloud THU. Let's see if I can find that one. THU, maybe? THU. Oh. Usually the plugins are all at the bottom. Of course, there's a million. I may not have that on this. It's not moved over into the new folder. That's why. Well, anyway, it's a great one for guitars. Sounds so good. Uses very little CPU. Okay, enough Tangentville. Cool. And I think for this sleazy robot, we get a little more tremolo happening here. Maybe after the phaser flanger. Just to sort of space out this. Almost a Vladislav delay type of feel. He would have these chords that would sort of play these dubby style minor. Cool. All right, so I think we're good on this sketch for now. Hopefully the sound levels were okay. The ducking, I did some tests before this, but you know, you never really fully know until you actually just get in there and do a full-on, you know, trial. So I was checking the levels, and it looked like everything was ducking okay, and the voice is at least higher than the Ableton playback. So we'll see. Apologies if not, but again, I am going for like the jankiest YouTuber of the Year award, so I think I'm well on my way. Cool. All right. Just gonna let this one play out for a little bit, and you know, until next time, as always, keep it challenging and keep it weird, keep it random, etc., etc. All right, see ya.